I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey.
What
Hey,
up?
the gang is all back. Hey, AfterBuzzers, this is the For Life After Show, Season 1, Episode 7, Do Us Part. We definitely saw some interesting things tonight. What did you guys think of the episode overall?
Emily, you go first.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that it's one of the. I think it's the best episode of the season. That's what
Oh,
I thought it was beautiful. I think it was beautifully written, and I think it closed a lot of some of the questions we had in previous after shows and on previous episodes. And I think it shows a side of compassion and humanity of Aaron and the warden that I think we were kind of missing. And so I feel like it was a beautiful episode.
I agree. There was a lot of great moments. I wouldn't give it like my favorite episode of the season, but it was still a really good episode. It had a lot of great moments, and like you said, we got to see Aaron and the warden be good without any sacrifices, without any like good butts. You know, it was just
Hmm.
good for being good, and we got to see that even at the detriment of his own case. So
Yeah.
it was cool
okay.
to see, but it's going to be interesting to see what that costs down the line.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I definitely agree with those things. We'll see by the end of this. Maybe I can decide if it was the best episode of the
I mean,
season.
it's so
Um,
far. We still have a
but
little
it
while to go.
definitely answered some of the questions and tied up some loose ends. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, you notice there's three of us tonight. So Dot is not with us, but she's fine and well. You guys will definitely loop you in on where you can check her out. But I've got Emily May, of course, here
Hey.
and Jeff Will in the building. So we are all back together one more time. This is our third week doing it this way, right? How
It
you guys feeling?
Mhm.
we're getting by. It's a little, it's I'm feeling a little cooped up, and I feel like we all are, and we're just trying to find ways to stay connected to people, and this is one way to do it.
For
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah, I was like, I'm hoping for better internet this time, so we'll see if
Yeah.
we make it through the whole show. But no, I'm
Okay.
Turn
no, I'm
off all
enjoying
of
it.
your Wi-Fi on all other
Oh,
devices.
I did. Like phone's done. I told my roommates stop doing anything right now. We're just meditating. Jeffrey's going live. So yeah. So no, I'm enjoying it though. But my roommates are definitely keeping me busy, so I'm not too bored.
Okay, love to hear that. And yeah, Jeff, you got to stay the whole time because you got to give us a jumbo size of For
Otherwise,
Life
you're
and
just
back.
gonna hear me talk.
And we got to have someone disagree. So what else would
Yeah,
I
Of
we
do?
do.
course.
I need your other opinion.
Okay,
I
well,
got
without
to.
any further ado, though, the episode was titled Do Us Part. And as always, we'll go through, some of the different areas. I thought it was funny. One of the things that stood out to me was just how everybody was talking about how he didn't have that burner phone anymore. Like,
Hmm.
I thought that was so funny to see throughout. But talk about, I guess, what you experience now seeing life for Aaron in jail, because things definitely started to shift up for him this week.
Yeah, I feel like it gave other people opportunities to lead and kind of help Aaron out because
Hmm.
he wasn't really able to connect to Henry as much. He wasn't really able to connect to Marie as much, but they were still doing work outside of that. That you got to see Marie and Darius kind of take matters into their own hands and do their own investigative work. And then Henry saying, "Don't worry, I got this. I'll take over while you do the good work." So it was really cool to see, and he had to kind of be scrappy, and so did his team.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it showed a side of Aaron being diligent and not, like you said before, like not doing the work because and doing it in like a side kind of a side way, like forging a note or kind of getting um witnesses the wrong way. Like it he really kind of worked and wanted to do something even though it wasn't in his best interest to
Yeah.
necessarily do it. And he's navigating still the prison politics and kind of figuring out where he's best suited and where he's safe. And he's still trying to figure that out. But I feel like I loved how they focused on a very like genuine case that he didn't necessarily know how to handle or want to take. And he still did it anyway.
Yeah,
So he was showing
definitely.
him
And just
sacrifice something.
and looking at the prison politics, because we met 50 Cent's characters Dawkins last
Mhm.
weekend. So just to go back on it, really kind of clearing up and giving us a visual representation of all the things we want to see, because we were talking about, wanting to see violence and like these threats, and the culture shifted up because we saw with Dawkins, who became, the big guy on campus. So he was blocking the phone from Aaron, and then,
Yeah.
all that stuff. How did you guys like that?
Emily, you can go
D-
first.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for us to see that. So I think, I love how they brought up, like you said, the phone situation right away. Like, oh, well, why did you give it to him? So now he has it. And so they're finding out slowly information as it filters through from the outside, into the prison. And so there's kind of a system that we're still trying to understand, that we're still trying to see unravel. And we're still not I feel like there's still characters that we're still iffy about, and that we're not sure exactly where they stand in relationship to Aaron.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see down the line, like once the stakes kind of elevate, who's really there, how long they actually are there, and like who
Mhm.
he can really trust and stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of people in the jail cell that are like his cellmates and everything that we don't really have a rooting interest for because we haven't gotten like a huge backstory for.
Mhm.
Like just like his main guy, that's his right hand man. We just assume that like that's a good friend of his, but we don't know too much about him yet. So it's gonna be interesting to see how ride or die is he, or like how willing is he to go through the thick of things with Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm interested to see kind of like I've been interested in these last few episodes how they decide who the next case is, or what the next case is.
mhm.
And this was an interesting way that Aaron decided to get involved. And it's interesting to see that his reason for taking them is slightly shifted. And I liked how this whole episode was kind of themed around marriage and your partner, and how you're connected to them when you're in prison. And so I loved that there was those moments in this episode.
Yeah, for sure. And it definitely also kind of goes with that element that we were just discussing that kind of bleeds through the whole vein of the show, the idea of his integrity, right? And how does
Mhm.
he fare as a lawyer? So this was kind of, a really good testament to that, because he had the direct conflict,
Yeah.
whether he should take the case and help out, or whether he should take his own case, because we did get to see, now things were going so well for his case. Honestly, I didn't I thought it was going to go well. I didn't expect Angelo to not be there. Did y'all think, Jeff? Did you think Angelo was going to show up or no?
Nah, and
Mm-mm.
the prosecutor sold it so well, and I was so upset when I saw that because I was ready for him to like have some good stuff happen for him. I'm like, we're getting towards the second half of the season or towards the end of the season, depending on how
No.
many episodes are left. But like, I'm ready. I was like, okay, we're making moves, and then it's just like another barrier, and we don't even know how long this barrier is going to be there. So it kind of hurt for this one.
Well, it was yeah, I mean, I agree. It was really hard to watch because you feel like he got a win with his with the case that he was trying for his inmates. And but I feel like the way that the witness reacted to them showing up and saying, "Hey, we need to like get you to we need to cross examine you." I had a feeling that the DA or some type of shady thing would happen where they would get in the way, they would spook the witness, they would do something where like he wouldn't show up.
Hmm.
So I can kind of see Aaron's point where he did postpone it, and so again that gives the witness a little window to say, okay, I can get out of here. But also the DA and kind of them involved is kind of they're trying to like press down on Aaron's case and try to like hide things. And so I would not be surprised that in later episodes it comes out that they had something to do with it.
Yeah, they very well could have, or not. I think it'll be interesting to see, um, what does Aaron do moving forward? Like, is this something that he's just going to stick with, so he'll never like go out of his way or put his case second, or if he'll always put it first? So we got to see Marie, of course, and this episode, like you said, Emily, was a lot about marriage and the love in on it. But before we get there, let's talk about Marie and Jeff. Or sorry, Maria and Darius. I say Jeff because I'm coming right.
Because Jeff is going to have an opinion.
Because we got to see Maria and Darius both working together to help out on the case. And we got to see a few instances even where, you know, you could tell that Darius was good friends with Aaron. And I had even said last week, you know, my prediction was that we would see them. So I wanted to really see them one-on-one, like have a sit down in a meeting. But I still was happy to see, you know, some of those instances where Darius was sticking up for him, trying to get the information and do his part. Now, Jeff, what do you feel? How do you feel towards Darius? You still?
Well, let me just say this. I will use his name when I speak of him now, because Darius deserved that. He stepped up in a way. He's acting friendly. He's acting like he's doing what a friend would do. You know, helping go find people, at least looking into the case and caring about what's going on, and kind of like not just being the boyfriend that's kind of judging and jealous and everything, but also being a good friend, which he should have been doing from the jump. So that was cool to see. But I'm not like overjoyed, over the moon or anything. It's just like, this is the first step. Like, I still haven't seen a confrontation between them two. That's what I want to see before I can make any full judgments on this situation.
Okay, same. I'm looking forward to that as well. What about you, Emily?
I mean, I feel like the way that Darius has developed in this show has really been great. And I feel like this episode showed a different side of him, where we were kind of questioning his loyalty to Aaron and kind of his motives with Marie. And I feel like this episode really showed that he could be, that he is still Aaron's friend. He still wants what's best for them, and he's willing to like do the work in order to, you know, the work to put it, you know, willing to put the work in.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, definitely. And you know, it was nice to see his feelings. So I feel that we got to see that Aaron clearly loves Marie still is in love with her, but we got to see how much he loves her. So I thought that was good to have that case of the guy Nathan who wanted to get married, and that really allowed him to see his life and to see what his life has done to the people he cares about, especially Marie. So it was good to see that he loves her and that he signed the divorce papers. So first question, I'll start with Emily and then we'll go to Jeff. Do you guys think that he should have signed the papers?
So I predicted this last week. I don't know if you remember, or the week before, but I predicted that Aaron would sign the divorce papers. And I feel like this is one of the hardest things that Aaron could have done. And Aaron is doing what's best for Marie, not what's best for him. But even though that he loves her deeply and loves her more than anything, he knows that even though this is the most difficult thing that he has to do, he's doing it for her. And that is a brave act to do. And so I think that when he took on this case and he saw the woman that was dying, and her story was beautiful. Her story kind of changed his mind, because she waited for him, but if there was no payout in the end, if there was no conclusion, no closure to their relationship, then it wouldn't really be worth it. And so Aaron, because he had a backfire, a misstep in his case, he really doesn't know when or if he will get out. So I feel like this was a brave thing for him to do. I think it was the right thing. And then it's up to Marie whether she stays with Darius and continues that relationship. But I'm kind of with Jeff here, where I want Darius to kind of not ask permission, but maybe just clear the air and say, hey, I'm with Marie. I want to take care of her. I will do my best to take care of her and Jasmine, and just make a clean confession and just say, hey.
Okay, so we'll see what happens there. But so you think that he made the right decision?
I think he did make the right decision.
The papers.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you think he should have signed the papers?
Yeah, I think he definitely should have signed it. I was surprised to see it happen so soon, though. I kind of thought, well, let me say, I'm surprised it happened so soon because I thought it was happening at the end of the season.
Mm,
But with this episode being so deep and how it ended up going, it makes sense for it to be this episode. I think that just because it was a dad saying, "Hey, you need to sign this, do what's best for my daughter," that hit him, but it wasn't the game changer that this story was, because not only
mm,
was it his dad that was saying it, was like, you take that with a grain of salt. There's like still borders there. When you see that you're actually affecting a family, that you actually made
mhm.
that change and that's actually affecting you internally, that's when, like, okay, I want to make a change. I think I should do this. It's like more or less I'm doing this for me, not because the dad said it. So I'm not
Exactly.
surprised that it happened now because of
Yeah.
what happened in this episode.
Yeah, and I feel like this was
Okay.
the perfect episode for it to happen. I feel like I can't really see it happening in any other way unless there was like a big fight or a big blow up, and then he was done.
And
But
Yeah.
I thought that Aaron thought it out. It was very methodical and emotional for him. But I felt like it was the best thing for him to do at this moment. And I feel like Marie was very kind of shocked, but I also feel like she was somewhat grateful.
For sure. Well, I was going to ask about Maurice. So for me, I can understand his decision. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe he shouldn't have signed them because he was influenced by the dad coming to visit, although it wasn't the biggest thing that kind of gave him that push. But I feel like he was influenced because um, he didn't tell her that the dad had come to visit him. And so I think that that planted a seed, and then that case was just everything else that he needed to sign the papers. But to follow up to that, now, do you want do you want Marie to go through with it, or do you want her to end up with Aaron? Emily,
Emily,
Oh,
that's
yes.
all you. You go first.
wait, so you mean you want your question is whether you want her to be with Aaron or
What do you want her to do in response? She has the signed divorce papers. Do you think that she's
I
gonna go through with
well,
it, or is she gonna halt it?
I thought she already signed them and he just had to sign them.
Mm.
I thought she
She
already
did.
did. Yeah, so all of it's signed. She
Oh
needs to
wow.
just file it.
Yep.
So she could keep the papers all she wants, but if she doesn't file
So do
it,
y'all want her to
Yeah. So
file the
no. So
papers?
Emily, answer the.
ah,
You know
Emily
what his
don't
question is.
wait.
You know exactly what
okay,
his question is.
I know. See, I'm a hopeless romantic, and my hopeless romantic side is saying no, she should keep on to it and keep fighting, and he could get released soon, or it could be another second break in his case, and it's 2 years, and then he's out. But then there's also the rational side that also wants her to do what's best for herself, like
Yeah.
emotionally and mentally. And if you're being pulled in a million directions and you can't fully love someone, then you should let them go. So I
Yeah.
have mixed feelings because I have both. I know it doesn't answer your question. I have
It's
half a
okay.
brain.
No, it's okay. It's definitely understandable. We still have
All
more
good.
episodes to
I know. Jeff,
experience
what do
and,
you
and
think?
to see. But yeah, Jeff, what's your take on that?
Okay.
Jeff's just laughing at me.
No. What do I want to happen is simple. I just want her to stay with Aaron.
I
It's not
know.
going to be
Well, that's the
hard. It's
simple
not going
answer.
I
Agreed.
know. I know. And that's my answer. It's a simple answer. That's what I want to happen. It's not going to be easy. He still has to wait and see what's going to happen. Hopefully he has some good luck on his side because he's helping other people. So something will happen. We saw in the trailer that he's going to be teaming up with 50. So
Hmm.
we got good luck and 50 on our side. So
All right.
I'm on Team Marie and Aaron.
Okay.
Perfect. I am too. For the record, I am too. But okay, so I know we still have to get to For Life and Back and predictions, news, and gossip. But for before we get there, one of the things I said that I had trouble with last week was the warden and her family and just that whole story. Emily, what did you think now? Because we got to see the kid, we got to see her family
Yeah.
dynamic. Do we need this element or not?
So I think we do. I think we need this extra storyline, and here's why. Because we need to know where the warden is coming from in the sense of her moral compass, and how she leads at home is going to reflect how she leads, I think, in the kind of the prison sector. And the fact that she had a different kind of ruling and kind of leadership style with her son than her wife did, so they have that like conflict of interest that I feel like she's trying to be a better person, and she's trying to, like, she made that call to be subpoenaed and be a witness so Aaron could confront her and question her, and then also made the decision to have visitation rights for the inmate for his wife in her last days. And so you're slowly seeing her make these choices that are better and that have more compassion behind them. And so I think that's what we need. We need to see that someone is in Aaron's camp.
Okay.
So I
And
think it's
Jeff,
important
what do
to
you
see
think
that.
of the warden storyline and just her family and that whole believability with that character?
I love it because it gives her layers. I feel like we
Mhm.
need this. She's such a dynamic character. She's such an integral part in this story, and for Aaron specifically to get out, that she needs a storyline. She needs a reason for us to have a rooting interest in her. And I honestly feel that this is kind of teasing us for storylines that could be in season 2 or season 3 with her and her wife, maybe her and her ex-wife that go and button heads or
Mhm.
something. I don't know.
Right.
That could be something that we're starting to see, because this 50 is not thinking one season. 50 is thinking long term. So
Yeah.
this could just be a seed.
For
What's
sure. Yeah,
interesting
they've
is,
got a lot of places that they can go. And I
yeah,
think that,
that goes, yeah. Sorry.
oh, no, you're fine. I was just gonna say, because at first I wasn't a fan of the warden and her family. I didn't really believe it, but Emily, you have been saying like that it's necessary and it's gonna show us who she is. So I think tonight's episode was a prime example of that because she really decided for herself what she wanted to do with having the conjugal visits and with being subpoenaed. So I think that we really get to see her identity and where her integrity is now. But to Jeff's point, I think it does give all these elements for the future because her wife, she just told you what she wanted you to
Mhm.
do, doing the opposite of that. And so,
Yeah. And
prediction time is gonna be a little something to
yeah,
talk about.
totally. And the wife is like running for DA or assistant DA,
Correct.
so that causes a whole new layer of friction. So we'll
Drama.
get to that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And then I guess the last element that we did start to see this whole violent kind of side of things was with the CEO and had their meeting with 50 Dawkins about just him taking over in Wild Bill's place. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's gonna be interesting. I'm so excited to see some fights internally that doesn't have to do with Aaron kind of like roughing up who's really leading the jail cell because Wild Bill was kind of leading it. 50
Mhm.
comes in, he's like, "Do you know who I am?" Because everybody else does. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to see what happens. And from the looks of the trailer, we're gonna get that soon. And with the COs kind of like putting them against each other, I wonder if the jailmates are gonna like go against the COs maybe later down the season.
Okay. And Emily, what about you? I know you were talking about liking this part of the storyline, just that side of things coming out in the show.
Yeah, I mean, I liked how there was a break between when 50 Cent premiered on his show, and then there's a break, and then he had a little teaser tonight, and then next week is going to be even more in depth because I feel like it's going to ebb and flow, and we need those ups and downs. It can't just be like violence and kind of mystery all the time. You need to have some variety. So I'm excited to see what happens next week.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, I think all of that is going to be interesting. I'm going to hold out on my predictions. For now, we can go ahead and jump into our special segment before Life and Back. Like I said, we really missed it last week, so you better have
Yeah,
some good info.
definitely. And I appreciate you throwing it off. But yeah, so For Life and Back, for those who don't know, is when we highlight people that have been incarcerated or wrongfully incarcerated and now exonerated, and just stories about that and how we're highlighting them. And this week we're talking about Clifford Wallace Jr. Words are hard sometimes, sorry, and his nephew Herbert Myers. They were both incarcerated in 1976, and they were incarcerated for 42 years.
Oh
And they were wrongfully incarcerated. There was, during their trial back in 1976, it was 2 days for murder, for a 2-person murder. So I don't know if you guys know how long trials take. They don't last 2 days, for definitely not for a murder case.
No.
And there was no evidence and no witnesses taken in that case. The craziest part about it is that there was partygoers that said that they were witnesses that know the people that were accused, saying that they were in the party during that, like during this was happening. And that another man ended up confessing back while they were in jail as well, but he didn't end up making it to the court because he passed away. So it was a lot of craziness that happened, and like so many times where they'd be like, hey, look at this, there's something going on here, but they never did it. And it's just crazy. After 42 years, they were finally exonerated in March of 2019. And it's just it's great that we get to highlight that, but it's sad that this is happening after 42 years. Two people that spent most of their lives in jail over something that could have easily been changed, easily been fixed, over just asking, did anyone see them? They didn't look at any witnesses. They didn't ask for any evidence. It was really upsetting.
Wow.
But that's so, I have no words.
Yeah. And it's
I can't.
it's unfortunate that we know their names, but I'm glad that we get that their story is told, because hopefully that means there won't be any more stories going down the line.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we just have to keep, like, that's why it's so important, like, to do this special segment, because we have to keep talking about them so that their voices and their names can get out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The more we know, the more we, are privy to it. It's like when you see a certain car, or when you buy a car, you never see it and then you buy it. And so you see it all the time. So the more that we, get access to this kind of information, the more it'll be in our thoughts, and the more we can actually do something about it a lot sooner than 47 years. That's insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's someone's
very
life.
Unfortunate.
That's
Can't imagine. But they got out, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
They're both out now. After 42 years, they're both out. They're both
So how
March
old
of
are they now?
2019.
How old are they now?
I would have to look that up. I don't know how they are right now.
I'm
But,
assuming
he's 47.
yeah. So I believe the nephew Herbert was like in his 18ish, and then the uncle was in his late 20s, but don't quote me on that. I would have to go back and look that up.
Okay.
So interesting. Yeah, thanks for that for sure. And just going back into For Life, right? We don't know how long Aaron is going to be. We did see a lot of elements. We did see a major kind of halt in his case. I think they all were counting on this interrogation to get him out. So let's go ahead and jump into some predictions about what we expect. I know, Emily, you told us last week had asked how many episodes, but you confirmed it's going to be 12 this season, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So we got a few left. What do you have your predictions, Emily or Jeff? Who wants to go first?
Jeff,
Emily,
you want to go? Oh, you want me to go first?
Ladies first.
So I think Aaron is going to get involved kind of with 50 Cent's character in some way. I'm not sure if he's going to help with a few cases with his case. I'm not sure. I think he's going to find some type of link. Aaron's going to find a new link, a new lead in his case, or the witness will come back. I'm not sure, but I think he's going to find something, because he keeps going, he keeps fighting. He's going to find something. I know that he will. I think Darius is going to propose to Marie, but
Ooh.
I know at some point in the season, but not until he talks to Aaron.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I think we're going to see something also with the warden. I think the warden is going to step up and help Aaron in a big way.
All right. We'll hold you to it. What about you, Jeff?
I can't see Darius coming through all the way. I can't give him all that cred. Like, I'm at least saying his name right now, but I could definitely see him doing a proposal, but I can't see him going to the full jail cell, talking to Aaron, going through all that, especially once he knows that the divorce is signed, because I feel like Marie's going to tell him, but she's not going to tell him that she didn't file it, because that is my second prediction, that if she is not going to file that divorce paper, and that's actually going to be the last thing that we see of the season. I feel like what we're going to see is him getting released, and then she telling him, I never signed it, and then ripping it, and then they're making out, and then that'd be the end of the season. Fade to black.
You got it all written out. Perfect.
Yes.
Well, for me,
just call me the script writer. I got this.
We'll take it. I definitely think that we're going to see this Marie Aaron thing. I think that she's going to maybe tell him that she loves him or how she feels. I don't think that she's going to tell Darius about getting the papers. I don't think that he's going to propose to her either. I would love for them to just separate like nicely.
I'm just throwing it out to throw y'all off.
No, for sure. But I do think we will see probably next week just more of the relationship develop between him and 50 Cent's character. And I think that's where we're going to see him maybe have to do some things that he doesn't want to do, just to continue to enhance himself. But we could talk about this on and on and on and on. The best place to do it is on social media and virtually, since we're all in the house. Emily, where can everybody find you if they want to keep the conversation going?
Yeah, so you can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May Heller. That's MAE.
Hey, and you guys, if you guys want to continue the conversation with your boy, you can find me at Jeff Will Jr. on all social media platforms. Even now, since we're isolated at home, you can find me at Jeff Will Jr. on Xbox. So I'll be on there in like 5 minutes. So continue the conversation with your boy. But yeah.
And you're here. Cool. You're all over.
You keep everywhere.
Cool.
Everywhere.
Okay. Dot is not here, but you can definitely check her out on all social media platforms at Dot McDonald. That's at DOT McDonald, like McDonald's without the S. And then I'm on all social media at Keith_Andre. We could definitely talk some more about For Life. Like I said, I really be following 50 Cent, and he be doing some crazy stuff like on the episode and all that. But until next week, guys, it's been fun as always. We'll see you later.
I miss you guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.